I'm Poogie.
I'm Maule. And this is the Paul. That was perfect. Okay, now let's go on. So what happened last night?
Took my mother-in-law down to the Fredonia.
Oh.
Not to the steakhouse. She wanted to go to the restaurant. She likes it better.
Okay.
And we actually finished high school together. And,
last night?
No, a few years ago.
Your mother-in-law and you were in high school
You know
together.
how things kind of get in a disarray, throughout life.
Well, isn't your mother-in-law supposed to be older than you?
Where does it say that?
Well, in the Bible, probably, I imagine. I don't know.
That's in the Bible.
But wait, you and your mother-in-law are the same age.
She's actually nearly a year younger than I.
Oh.
But
okay.
she graduated in 1971.
Does she want people to know that?
Probably not.
Yeah. She's so pretty, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a pretty young lady, and we had a good time down there last night.
Did you get a booster chair for your wife or whatever? How old's your wife? If you went to school with her mother?
Well, it's actually her stepmother.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Yes, it's possible.
They could be the same age. In Hollywood, that'd be the...
You're trying to get me confused right off the bat here.
Okay. Okay, go on, please.
And anyway, yeah, we went down and had a great birthday meal for her, and even a dessert.
Wow.
It sure was good because I'm on my little fasting thing. Right
What is that about? Why are you...
I'm losing weight.
How old are you? Can you tell us that?
I'm in December, on December 3rd, I will be 69 years old.
And you're on a diet at 69? It seems to me at 69, you should be able to just eat anything you want.
I've tried that.
Yeah.
I lost a lot one time, and I found a little of it back.
Okay.
And I'm fixing to get that all.
So you fast one day a week?
No, I've been on 3 days. Well, here's how it is. I eat dinner in the evenings.
Okay.
And that's the only thing I have till dinner again the next day.
Don't you wake up in the middle of the night,
No.
chewing on your wife's toe or something? I mean, aren't you hungry?
No, I don't think I've
Okay. Well, I mean, do you get a headache or get grumpy or?
No.
Are you on a fast right? Yeah. Are you fasting?
I'll get to eat this afternoon. Nobody's making me do this. It's just something that my doctor and I come up with, and he recommends you do it like twice a week. But I'm trying to knock off some pounds, and so anyway, to make a long story short, it'll be good to have dinner.
So you took your mother-in-law, who's the same age as you, to dinner last night, but you fasted and you didn't eat?
No, I did eat because it was dinner.
Oh, okay.
When we got there. Is this making sense now?
Yeah, but did you order like a salad or a steak?
No, I ordered the shrimp, and it came with French fries, and I didn't want them, so I got a big bed of mashed potatoes with those things.
Well, that's dietetic, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're only doing it once a day, follow me?
So, so you can eat anything you want as long as you just eat it once a day. Can you eat as much as you want?
No, but I did. We did order a dessert.
Did you have a drink?
I had one glass of rosé wine.
Like an iced tea glass or like a little
No, it was
demi-tasse?
It was a little short glass.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't tell him. It just came out short. And so.
Okay.
I just told him.
Now, what was the point of this? Why are you telling me this? Just about what's going on in your
I
life?
have no idea why I'm telling you.
Okay.
This. It's like every time we get together, we get off on we get a wheel in the ditch, and it.
Yeah. Your mother-in-law looks like Susan Lucci from All My Children. Does she know that?
I don't know.
Gosh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you might want to explain to people what the Fredonia is.
Well, the Fredonia is I guess you could still call it a brand new old hotel that we have in town that
Rehabbed.
Rehab, yes. And it's owned by a nice local family. And,
yeah, beautiful hotel.
Beautiful place. And I like any event down there. I like to go eat at the steakhouse once in a while, which is great. Got the best filet mignons in the world.
Yeah.
And
did you eat by the pool last night or in the dining room?
ate in the by the pool, and they had a little music event going on out there. A young lady playing I believe a guitar and a stand-up bass player.
Yeah.
It was pretty neat when I went out there and watched that a little bit, and seen a lot of people go by. That's a pretty good place to sit there and kind of people watch.
People watch, yeah.
And so...
Which reminds me, I read a story last night. Somebody sent it to me, that there's a zoo. I'm not exactly, it may be Cincinnati or someplace. It wasn't a local zoo. It wasn't like Lufkin or something. But they've had to ban this woman from coming in the zoo because she's developed a relationship with one of the chimps there. And she goes to the zoo almost every day, and she sits and waves and winks at the chimp, and they said that it was inappropriate, that it was causing the chimp to spend too much time over at the glass.
The chimp's behind glass.
Chimp's behind glass, but he's spending way too much time over there with this lady that's waving and winking at him all the time. And he's losing his social interactions with the rest of the monkeys.
So she's banned?
Well, she's not. She actually protested the ban, and she says, "Why can everybody else come here and I can't anymore? I'm still behind the glass." And they explained it to her, and they just said, "If you'll just stop winking at the monkeys and waving at them, and let him be,
Let him do what he does.
let him do what a chimp does."
Which is what? Just hanging,
just eat, just
hanging around,
swing and hang around. But when you said the hotel's a good place to watch people, that triggered that story in me.
Well, you triggered something
Okay.
with that story. When I was in 1962, we went down to Houston. First time I had ever been there, and we took my grandmother and my Uncle Linville took us down there, and we went to the zoo.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And my grandmother, she was always had lots of makeup on and little red
Fixed up.
and her lips is just all just. I mean, you can see that, I'm sure. But anyway, she gets there in front. We got to watching her over there, and she was standing in front of that glass.
See, those chimps they kind of are something curious, aren't they?
Yeah. And they were over, and that all of a sudden that chimp turned around and put his big pink back end up to that glass. and we got over there to see what she's doing. She was going. Had her tongue out at it.
Well,
it got him all stirred up.
Wow. She was sort of showing her ass, and he was showing his ass kind of thing.
There's a little ass showing going on.
Yeah.
But
so you went to the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite part of the zoo?
The monkeys.
Monkeys. Why is that?
I don't know. I like them. I like to over in Lufkin. I like them over there.
Yeah.
I like them when they get up there and show out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to see them doing what I would be doing
if you were in there. Yeah. Oh, zoos are cool. Did you ride the train that goes through the little Lufkin Zoo and
I
stuff?
have before, several times.
Yeah.
And I think they rebuilt it here a while back, and I hear on the news they advertise that a good bit that come ride the train.
That's
come
new.
to the zoo. Which reminds me, several years ago, the fire department, I believe it was the 4th of July, the Lufkin Fire Department challenged Nacogdoches Fire Department to come to play a softball game out at the zoo.
Do you think they went in a big meeting and said, "Let's see, where could we have a baseball game?"
Yeah.
We'll have
Guess
it at
where
the zoo.
center field was, and I played it.
With the chimps?
In the pond.
In the pond.
In the pond.
Would you stand on an island or something?
Well, I had grown a little bit.
Yeah, you weren't above, your head wasn't above water or whatever.
But that was an interesting deal.
Who won?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Can't remember.
You were underwater.
Yeah,
for most of it.
Yeah.
What made them put you out in the middle of the pond?
I have no idea. I have. We played the Nacogdoches Fire Department when I was there. We played with I believe it was KJCS radio station. Played Joe Diffie was coming to town.
I like Joe Diffie, or liked him.
And we got there, and the radio station and Joe Diffie's band played the fire department. That's how it was. We were alone on our deal, just the firemen. And we didn't have a pitcher. So guess who pitched?
Joe Diffie?
No, no.
No, you pitched.
I pitched for our team. Yeah, I pitched for the fire department. And we took a little break in the middle of the deal, and I got someone to go to the store and get some little melons.
Oh, that's sneaky.
And got them out there, some little small ones. And I throwed old Joe one.
Now, did you color it like a ball or something?
No, it just
little melon. Oh, you just snuck it in there.
Snuck it in there.
Did he hit it?
And he hit that thing.
Oh.
Most of it came toward me.
Wow. That's funny. Did you as firemen ever put out a fire, or did y'all just play baseball most of the time?
We played a lot of baseball. We put out some fires and everything, and always saved most.
Did you?
Most, yeah.
What's the deal with firemen? I mean, and fire ladies, I guess now. Why they're like people that like to save people? Are they extraordinary people?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, seriously,
yes,
are they?
Yes.
Why is that? What makes a fireman?
I don't know. You just have to have what it takes to want to help, people that are in need.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed my 30 years of it, that I was there, and it was a great career.
No, it didn't, like the hard stuff that, you saw wrecks and fires and stuff, that didn't toast you. I mean, it didn't make your brain sad or whatever.
Well, yes, it did, but it didn't. I mean, it's kind of like, somebody's got to do it. So, so I chose to do that. And
so back to when the last time we talked, you had dropped off at 16 years of age, where you had gone to work for the fire department. What other 18? What other memories do you have from that period of your life?
Did a lot of car racing.
Okay.
Started that when I was 16. So we did dirt track stock car racing over at Redland, Texas. And you were supposed to be 18 years old to be able to do it.
Everything you've done, you've always kind of lied about it and been too young.
Well, it didn't lie. These people didn't ask. I mean, they would have got the truth.
So they had a don't
or
ask.
as near as I could get to that.
Yeah. Why are things so different? They just didn't ask. And
I guess. And somebody, when I was about a year later, told my mother, said, you ought to go over there to that Redland, to that racetrack and watch old Poogie race. You know, he's doing pretty good over there. She said, race?
so she didn't know where you were going at night.
On Friday night, she didn't know where I was going with that old car.
Where'd she think you were going? On a
know.
date? Did she ever ask you to clean that car up because you had a date?
She confronted me about it and said that she had found out that I was racing cars now.
Yeah.
And not even out of high school. This is before I went to work for the fire department.
Do you think she was sleepless a lot of nights when she thought about you? Like, he rode a motorcycle through the high school.
Yeah.
He flunked the second grade, you know. I mean, do you think you worried her?
Probably.
Okay.
But she did tell me this and told me this a lot of times. She said, I'd much rather see you go off on a motorcycle than in a car. She thought that I was really
Wait,
proficient. And yes.
She'd rather see you on a motorcycle than a car.
Mm-hmm.
Was she dyslexic? That's weird.
Yeah.
Those are more dangerous, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, most of the time, yes. They would be a lot more dangerous. But, and I rode a lot of motorcycles, but I had a lot of fun over there racing those cars and done a little drag racing and just
Wait, now
excited.
drag means different things to people nowadays. What were you?
Two cars lined up on about a half a mile strip of pavement.
Okay. Now, was there any money involved in all this?
Well, there was if you won, but you know it wasn't a betting deal. It was a whoever won back then. Now they do it. It's a lot different now.
Yeah.
And
Well, drag's a lot different now. But did you have like a Malibu, or what'd you have?
well, I had my first car was a 1956 Chevy two-door hardtop. Then I had a 1957 Chevy two-door hardtop.
This is a Bel Air
Then I
or
had
an Impala
a
or something?
1962. Yeah, they were all, the 57 and 56 was Bel Airs, and then the 62 was an Impala SS. And then a 64, and then I had a 64 Chevy Nova. Then I went to the fire department and got gainfully employed.
Oh, so you had money then to...
Yeah, I had money so I went down to Gown Chevrolet, same place it is now,
Yeah.
and bought me a 1971, a burnt orange. Can you imagine how pretty that burnt orange was?
Oh, my God.
1971 SS Chevelle,
Ooh. What color interior did that have?
black. And
How much would that be worth in today's dollars, you think?
well, I saw one on one of those places that you go to buy them, and I think $35,000 for one. I gave $3,800 for it.
Well, so just add another zero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I gave $3,800.
did you start winning races then?
No, I didn't race anymore.
Oh.
That was after I had the.
Okay. Is it true that you and Dan Pepper had a fight with mufflers one night and car doors and stuff? Is that true?
We had a little roundabout and about.
You're best friends,
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
so.
Trying to get this was in about 1971 or 72.
Yeah.
After I bought the Chevelle.
Did it have a Sonic drive-in involved in it?
Yes.
What is the deal with Sonic? Why does it make people want to fight?
I don't know.
Is it the cherry colas or something?
We were at the Sonic at the same time, and he was a couple of years younger than me.
Yeah.
And but a lot more into. He was a Golden Gloves boxer.
Well, I wouldn't pick a fight with him.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
I didn't know that. I found that out later.
During the fight, probably.
Yeah. And
Well,
I had to kind of get him back. I would have got. I always tell everybody that I got myself whipped that night if I hadn't have been changing the engine out in one of them old cars I had, one of them old hot rods I had, and there was an exhaust manifold laying on the ground. And
you hit him with an...
No, I didn't get it, but I kept him back with it.
Oh, my God. I can't wait to get him on the show and get his version of this, too. Y'all can talk about, your version of that.
Yeah, that would be good to get him in on that. And
see, I had a 62... I first of all had a 56 Chevrolet Bel Air. So we lived parallel lives.
Two-door sedan or hardtop?
Two-door. And it was like, I was in West Texas, you were in East Texas, but we were still sort of living the same life in some ways.
We were both on farms.
Yeah. Yes,
mine a chicken farm.
Yeah, and mine had cattle and cotton and stuff. But I had a 56 Bel Air Chevrolet. It was like that kind of light green color with a white top running down it. And it didn't have a radio. So I had a portable radio because they were kind of cool back then. Big old thing, like, foot long, foot wide. And I used to roll it up into the window so I could hear the radio as I drove along.
Yeah.
And one day, they had shocks on it that would kind of bounce when you hit. And I went down a hill and that radio popped out of my window and just scattered. I could probably still find pieces of it.
It's probably still something.
Probably still there in a bar ditch.
Some of those little transistors.
Yeah. And that was a pretty hard time on me right there when I broke my radio.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had that 57 Chevy. There's 56 Chevy. And then I had a 62 Ford 500. Have you ever heard of those?
Fairlane 500?
I mean, we're talking serious.
Yeah.
Like the engine was probably the size of this table here. So, and it was red, fire engine red, and I motored around in that. I was really lucky.
It probably had a radio.
Oh, yeah. It had an 8-track player.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
What'd you listen to?
Steppenwolf.
See?
Yeah.
Parallel lives right there.
And,
And then you got a real job and
got married about that time.
Okay. And golly. And I got, my father bought me, and I believe it was $3,200 or something like that, a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner.
Ooh.
389.
Have that little stripe with a little Roadrunner on the back of it, right on the back end.
I don't know. It was just yellow. It was just yellow, banana yellow.
Yeah.
And it was a hot
What
rod.
engine did it have?
A 389.
Oh, 383 Magnum.
383, yeah. But it was big. Yeah. It was hot.
Oh, yeah.
And
fast.
And to this day, I have regrets that I ever sold it or had another life after that, because that was probably the coolest time in my life. Maybe that was my father's fault. I wasn't very cool, but he was trying to push me through the window of being cool,
trying to get you jump started off.
Yeah.
And it's funny about those cars, I always thought I had the fastest thing. Especially when I was a teenager. And that little black Challenger that I just got rid of.
When you had your midlife crisis?
I didn't it's like when I bought the Harley Davidson, I just have little things happen like that.
You just have little mini crises all the time.
And I have to do something about it.
Yeah.
But that thing, the Challenger, and it had air conditioning. It drove good, fun to drive, and it was probably, without a doubt, the fastest street car that I ever owned in my life.
Now, this is recently, though,
This
right?
is recently. I mean, I just got rid of it. I just needed it for about a year, year and a half.
So it satisfied something, but then it didn't satisfy much or something.
Well, and then Tammy got to wanting to drive it. And, of course, I let her drive it whenever she wanted to. And she got to where she'd drive it to work. And so, well, then about the time we were trying to decide whether to just keep it or get rid of it.
Tammy's your wife, by the way, for those who don't know.
Tammy is my wife. And she was at the market in Dallas, and it got her car got stolen, a Tahoe. So we didn't have anything for her to drive. So she said, "I'll just drive that little Challenger." Wow. She drove it. She put about 18,000 miles on it.
Driving it to Dallas,
but there, and did work, and everywhere she went.
Now, do you think that she was having a little mini midlife crisis too?
But when that got over with, it was over.
She didn't.
She said, "Why don't we just sell that thing? Yeah. Have a little bit more room in the driveway." But it was fun to drive. Point I was trying to make with that, back then you used to have to haul them old race cars. If you put your racing tires on them, you couldn't drive them on the road. So you had to haul all that to the drag strip and then haul it all back home. You could take the family, if you wanted to, in this Challenger.
Yeah.
Get in it. Go down. Go to the drag strip. Race it. Put everybody back in it. In the cool. Air conditioned. All those cars, all those others never had any air conditioning. And be comfortable the whole way. Stop. Eat. Go to drive,
Which time was more fun? Back when you didn't have air conditioning, you had those beat up cars, or you had the nice air conditioned car?
I believe it was more fun when it was hot.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is.
Why is that?
And I thought those cars were so fast, but the times, I know what the record was on them, and they weren't. That little car was faster than anything that I had before.
I think cars were slower back then because everything was so, like they were, like the 8-track player, for instance. You had this big old tape you had to load in there. That added extra weight to your car. So it probably would.
A little drag on the.
Yeah. And they were made out of real metal as opposed to tinfoil or whatever they're made out of now, plastic.
Yeah.
Do you know that when I first moved here, which was 2005, when they ran me out of Hollywood, one of the things I did, other than I chased storms for a while when I first got out here. Man, I like to do that. And
I always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Be a ham radio operator.
I didn't have any of that. All I did was just follow the clouds.
Oh, so you just freelance.
But I had to do a lot of things. Like I started smoking just because, and I quit, by the way, but I started smoking just because I had nothing to do when I first moved out here.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because we met at that
and you
time.
just quit, and about 6 months later, I said, "Did you quit smoking?"
Easy as peasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I quit, I had to just. It was a deal. It
was like fasting.
But I quit, and I never did go back. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, other than chasing storms, one of the things I stumbled upon was a dirt track down in Lufkin, close to where the old paper mill was.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know anybody, but I went down there and I would just sit there alone on the hillside watching it was so mysterious to me that, it's dark and they had these kind of lights on poles and
fast cars.
Well, they're like loud cars going around that little track and spinning into, it's kind of like bumper cars. They were
that's what I did.
Wrecking and all that, and they'd jump out and fight each other and hate it and all this. But one of the funniest things I saw, a mystery, like a beginning to learn about, country people and stuff, was that there was a little kid there. We didn't have stands. You just sat on the side of the hill. There was a little kid who kept running out toward the track, and his parents didn't want that. So they tied him up on a little bungee cord to a lawn chair, and he had headphones on so it wouldn't ruin his ears. So they're very protective parents, and I appreciated that. Yeah. But anyway, the parents would sit in those folding chairs, and that little kid would just run as far as he could on that bungee cord and then pop back, and everybody was safe and had a good time. He had a good time, I think. Yeah. But I thought that was interesting.
Well, that was before you and I met then.
Yeah.
And, because I would have been down there. I went down there some too.
Yeah, I would have had you come with me too.
I took Christopher down there. He enjoyed that, and kind of made me want to
do it again.
Yeah.
They let me climb in one of their cars.
Yeah.
And that's tough. Have you ever climbed in those doors? They weld the doors shut.
Yeah. I've got pictures of mine where all the doors were welded up.
Yeah.
And
but those people that race, they could just get in and out. And mine was a little more difficult.
Yeah. I'd have a hard time getting in one of them now.
Yeah. It's weird to me that they, every time, like, what do you want to do Friday night? Let's go down to Lufkin and blow the engine up. Yeah. Because that's what they do. They'd make about 1 or 2 laps around the track and blow the engine up.
When I was doing that, we worked on it every night of the week till Friday night. Then we took it to Redland and tore it up. Either blew an engine up, blew a clutch out, or had some frame repair to do. Those things hitting each other at 60 or 70 miles an hour a piece, it'll tear them up.
But y'all never did work on your mufflers, because those are the loudest cars I've ever heard.
Well, it's supposed to be like that. It's just, there's a certain amount of that has to go on. They have to be loud.
Yeah.
It's like your Harley Davidsons. You got to have those things loud, and
that, and they had Frito pies. I remember that. That was really good.
I didn't ever eat a Frito pie down there, but I would have. I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
And what else you want to talk about?
I'm trying to think of, there's a lot of weird stuff that happened when I say I got kicked out of Hollywood, I guess I'm serious about that. In Hollywood, because, I was on a soap opera for a long time, which is the way we met. Mm-hmm. But when your time is up on a show, like for me, they killed me a lot. That was what I was good at on the show, was dying and being hurt and stuff. And when they, I was like one of those creatures that they'd kill me, and then I'd somehow wake up and come back to life on the show because the fans wrote letters. And so they had to try really hard to kill me off. And when they did, there's just no way you could come back to life. And then once they did kill me, I was dead in Hollywood. I was dead like one of those engines in your car race thing. And I don't know. Sometimes, you think God has to lead you someplace, because I was just wandering around in Hollywood with, a couple of Emmy nominations and a whole life and everything. And I'd go into a casting office, for another job or something. And they'd be like, "Oh, aren't you Dr. Tony? Aren't you dead?" And and I could never get a job. I mean, it was amazing. And so one day and there's a lot more to that story, but it's just like us, you know how they followed a star to the right place. One day I just got up and I just drove until I got to Nacogdoches, just on a mission. And that's just weird to go from Sodom and Gomorrah, which was Los Angeles kind of, and then to pull up in the oldest town in Texas and just be like, why am I here? What has happened here? You know?
And you've done very well with it.
Yeah, I love it here, but it's different.
We've had a lot of fun over the time. I kind of miss those days of going to the lake
Yeah, we did. We met pirates on the lake. You remember that?
I saw one of those guys the other day, and we got to talking about that and laughing. I don't remember just exactly how they, kind of like the Dan Peppard thing. I don't remember exactly what jump started either one of those situations off.
I can tell you exactly what it was. You have to understand, it's a pontoon boat full.
Two pontoon boats.
We were on a pontoon and they were on a pontoon. But they were piddling along, going home from a day of carousing and fishing and stuff. And there was about 6 of them, and they had all their little do-rags on, and they had a pirate flag flying. They were just pretty full of themselves.
Skull and crossbones.
And we just motored right past them.
Yeah. Our boat was a little bit faster and a little bit lighter. But I mean, it was a bigger boat, but we had less people on.
Yeah, and they were big old guys.
Yeah,
too.
big guys that. But anyway,
that did
somebody
something.
give some kind of a gesture.
I think we mooned them.
Yeah, I think it was too. I think they got the moon back there.
Yeah,
and they all ran to the front.
Well, they caught up with us first.
We slowed down.
Yeah,
and was just heckling them a little bit.
Uh-huh. And they all ran to the front of the boat. And those guys each weighed nosedive. They, they were hefty guys, big strong guys. But the whole boat sunk. The front of it sunk.
Mm-hmm. And all their in 5 seconds, coolers on the lake, floating around.
Because their cooler slid down the front of the boat off.
Yeah, and we had to go back and rescue.
I know, because their boat sank.
Yeah.
That was cool. And, I bet all that beer is still at the bottom of Sam Rayburn from that cooler.
Maybe so. Or maybe it floated up to the island.
Do beers float?
Yeah, they float.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
and
anyway.
But had a lot of fun down there. But I saw one of the. As a matter of fact, I saw the guy that owned the boat the other day at the donut.
So he's still mad at us?
Before I went to got off all that for a while. Yeah, and we got to laughing about that. And he said that was funny.
It was funny.
He said once we got all our beer picked back up and everybody back on the boat,
Yeah.
they had to lower the gangplank to get everybody back on the boat.
Do you remember the first time that you ever? There's an island in Sam Rayburn.
I know exactly where you're going.
And I'd never, it looked like a Bikini Island or something. Because in the summertime, all these boats come in there. It's like a redneck yacht club. And all these people with like little rhinestone crosses on their bottom of their bikinis and everything. And they're all out there sunning and playing. And I tried to fit in. And, you fit in because you know everybody. But I was out there kind of wading and trying to not be Hollywood and all that. And this diaper wipe floated past me that was golden yellow.
A used one.
A used one. and I actually walked on water. I mean, I levitated out of that.
Yeah.
That was
It chased you around.
It did.
It got in your wake.
It got in my wake, and that dirty diaper wiper chased me all the way back to the boat. And that was
you never were the same about getting in that water again.
No,
And of all things to happen, as big as that lake is, right there.
That was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
Because I remember that we used to pull up there, and I would sit on the boat watching for diaper wipes, and you would go and alert those people. You're like, see that old boy up on the boat there? He used to be on General Hospital, and they'd look at me very similar to that lady with the chimp at the glass, because they would come up there and look at me on the boat and say, why don't you get off? And I'm like, well, there's dirty diaper wipes in there. And they're like, oh, don't worry about that. Everybody pees in the water, Brad. Get into it.
And you never had probably pondered that.
I had not pondered that at all. Why everybody had this kind of sort of look on their face while they were standing in the water. Yeah. It was like the spirit had entered them at that point as it was leaving, I think.
Yeah.
It was a lot to learn about East Texas. That's good people. I think that's probably enough golden diaper wipes for you guys today. So we'll see you later.
See you.